Welcome to Blade HQ, everybody. Today is Monday, January 12th, 2025, 2026. We are all making that mistake today. For those of you who might not have refreshed the page, it might still say 2025 in your title. Sorry about that. But you know what? New Year got us all struggling. Yeah. Somebody's saying this has been a very active chat, and I'm inclined to agree. And Richard Moore, Rich, I know this guy. He's a local here in Utah. Good dude. You should hang out with him sometime. Honestly, he was the one who kept me up to date on the whole Crucible situation last year, which I'm hoping to find more out about at SHOT Show this upcoming year because, yeah, I guess I can't tell you all that much. But he asked, is the Slimfoot design made, Blade HQ design made by others, and was the Slimfoot sold by Arcform? Yeah, so he's talking about this guy. This is the ProTech Slimfoot Operator, which we're going to talk about later. And it was an Arcform design, you were correct. The Arcform Slimfoot Auto was made by ProTech. There was a manual version as well that was made overseas, but this one is the one that ProTech made. And then when Arcform went the way of all the world last year, the knife was discontinued, but ProTech still had everything, and my understanding is they got the rights to make it and continue in perpetuity. So there were Arcform Slimfoots, but they are a bit, dare I say, collectible now. And the Slimfoot here is to be in the future. It is a Joff Blowbelt design. Blade HQ did not design it. George's mind is already leaving him now that his beloved knives are in a box somewhere. I know exactly where they are. I put them at Doug's desk. It was too much temptation to leave them at mine. But yeah, I'm still rocking this one. Nice sweater, George. Is it wool? It is. This is an Aran sweater that my little sister-in-law got me for Christmas, and I love it. It's warm, it's cozy, and it's made of wool. It's Irish. Very fun. Richard also asked about the replacing Omega Springs for the Chavez. Any idea? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they used a pretty standard spring, but I don't have an answer on that one. I wish I did. Sorry about that. Yes, Jeff Smith, this is the Merry Christmas. Then Merry Christmas to you as well. I wouldn't trust anyone else with the box than Doug. I know, I've had a lot of people in the comments on that short we put out asking how much for the box. And I thought, you know, how bad would it hurt to just auction the full box off?
Well, message Doug directly. The better deal.
Message Doug directly, apparently.
So George Nash, let him know.
I really hope Flightanium continues to bring us all our favorite mods in 2026. I believe they will. My understanding is Flightanium was built by modders, and even though they have their own models now, they are still a modding platform all the way through. So you're going to give away one today? Just saying that's on most people's minds. Yeah, we are doing a giveaway. Actually doing two of them. We got two CRKT Seros, S-E-R-O is how it is. These are Richard Rodgers designs, and these are the bougie ones. We got Damascus blade steel with two Damascus steel inlays on the titanium handle. Frame locks. These are fancy. They're actually one of the knives that we're talking about today. They have a retail of $249.99. This might be the most expensive giveaway we've done in a long time. I think we might have done a Heretic cell shade a little while ago that was more expensive, but yeah. George, what do you use the Buck Range for since you started carrying it? Juliana, great question. I've been using it a little bit. You can see it's kind of got some schmutz on it and stuff. I've opened some packages. I've cut some food with it last week. By the way, if you ever want a bit of a surprise, go to your workplace's lunchroom and make an egg salad sandwich. I was amazed at how many people were like, dude, you're making egg salad? I love egg salad. Like 6 people walked by and commented on the egg salad. Anyway, I was chopping up some onions to put in there with this guy. It's a good one. So far, so good. Got our first little scratch on the very tip here of the handle. Not sure where that came from, but I'm sure it is just the beginning of many. It does look really clean when it's mostly just the same color of green, but as it wears in, I think it's gonna be even more beautiful. I love a good beat up knife. Matt J, I have egg salad for lunch today. Egg salad is bomb. Yes, got a bench made of Damas Gen 1 from my neighbor as for a late holiday gift. That's an awesome gift. Those Gen 1s are not very common anymore. I'm interested in bigger knives and swords like Condor Tanto. They're a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we only have folders on the table today. I guess we have some autos, which are basically folders. But yeah, I like big knives too, and it kind of hurt to lock all of mine up. If you really want to get comments, leave egg salad in the sun for a couple of hours. Yes, it's my birthday. Got Blade Issue calendar and the K is for Knives book. I'm making a bike chain ball bearing 1095 powder canister Damascus karambit to celebrate. That'll be a fun project. I hope you have a nice hot forge and you love that hammer of yours. My understanding is bike chain ball bearing, or like anything that has big gaps in it, you have to really beat to get all the stuff out. Yeah, y'all making me hungry. George just watched a Knife Steel Nerds video. His testing shows actually tougher than the Crucible version. Yeah, the Aristeel versions. I was looking at the same thing, which I find really exciting because my understanding is when MagnaCut was at first, by the way, what he's referring to, or maybe she, Reagan, I don't know if Reagan's a boy or a girl. Sorry, Reagan. Yes, so Aristeel purchased Crucible, and that came with all of the rights to the blade steels, including MagnaCut. And their first batch of MagnaCut came out, and Larian was doing testing, and it's seeing favorable toughness results, which I think is really cool, because I think what that's gonna do is it's going to show people that you don't need to take it crazy hard, because when you take it crazy hard, yes, you get more edge retention and still really good toughness, but if you keep it at that 62.5, you still get very good edge retention and absolute off-the-charts bonkers toughness, which is really awesome. And then if you want something harder, don't do MagnaCut high hardness, just get Magnamax. Just run that to 64, 65, like it says in the material data sheet, and you'll end up with a better knife anyway. That's just my hot take on the thing. Follow the directions and no one gets mad at you, except internet knife bros from time to time. Day 12 of carrying my Range Elite, joined you with the George. Well, Braden Powell, welcome. Hey, you should check out that blog. Send me an email. I want to compare notes throughout the year because I'm really vibing with this knife. It's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to hear some other things. In fact, that's how I got the watch. I got an email from a guy from Bear Watches who was shopping for knives, and he was considering the Buck Range, and he bumped into my article, and he saw that I was considering a watch, and he's like, "Hey, I want some knife info. Oh, by the way, here's a watch." I'm like, "Thanks, man. You're the coolest dude." Yep. George, what would be a better handle scale, G10 or aluminum for a Spyderco Salt? So, personally, I would say G10. I just really like having a fibrous substrate like this with the resin in there. It really doesn't take on water. If you're like, I will not take on a drop of water and I will all that, then I would probably go with the aluminum. But I've seen this on a few knives where a knife gets really used and beat up. And sometimes aluminum kind of starts to flake off once the anodization wears. So I personally go with aluminum, G10. G10's also a bit lighter and it keeps its color a bit better. But it would be hard. Aluminum's a great material too. Have nothing bad to say. Yes. Buck has really got an edge on their market. I think they do. Yes. Yesterday was my brother's birthday. Well, congratulations, Brown Sugar's brother. Happy birthday. If Crucible was still around, we wouldn't have to wait till the end of the year for Magnamax. That is true, but honestly, I think we will be happy with the Ultimate thing. The only downside, I was talking to Laren about this when he came in December. The only big sad that I'm seeing from this is there are some steels that only Crucible is willing to cook, and usually the high carbide ones, like your 15Vs, Rex 121s. And if you want those, you're kind of cooked now because I don't think anybody wants to make them anymore. So if you do not have a 15V knife, I would recommend pre-ordering one, buying one, that kind of thing. Yep, Juliana Hopper asked, what made me decide to pick the Buck Range? I will tell you. And then somebody asked about the new Flightanium theory. I will tell you all about that in the actual video. Once I tell you about this though, we'll do the actual video and then we'll come back afterwards. I don't answer anymore. The Buck Range won my heart in a few ways. First was a nice flat handle that's smooth. I have chewed up the pants of who knows how many pockets with heavy textures. And I'm learning I don't care for textures. I like a nice smooth handle on a folder. And I also like a flat handle because it carries really well. But this one also has a very nice handle design. This one's based off of the Vantage, another Buck knife. And like it just fits the hand well. Its contours are good enough to fill out, but it's not so much that it's gonna be issues in your pocket. I like that. Next up, MagnaCut blade steel. Love it. It's my favorite blade steel. I like a nice balance. It's gonna be tough enough to handle things, but check out how thin it is. We're like less than 0.1 on the thickness. That's gonna give you really good slicing performance. And it also has a nice flat section of grind here. This is something that people don't talk about with fixed angle sharpeners, is if you have a full flat grind and you clamp onto it, the blade can kind of wobble back and forth because the clamp wants to go like this, but the blade is triangular. And if that's the case, it's gonna be kind of wobbly, but you're actually gonna get this thing to be rock solid, not budging, because you have a flat surface to grab onto. Then I love a nice rounded spine where my thumb reaches because it just feels good, but the rounding ends right here and it goes to a 90 degrees. So if you need to scrape a ferro rod, you can. It's a crossbar lock, it's strong, it's fidgety, the aluminum's pretty. I love this knife, it's great. All right. With that said, let us do some new knives. What do you think? Okay. So I'm gonna fall silent for just a minute. We're gonna go through this and make a repostable video. It's gonna make everybody happy. Y'all are gonna love it. And then afterwards, we'll come back, I'll answer any questions you have, and we will give away some knives. Okay, here we go. Welcome to Blade HQ, everybody. Today is January 12th, 2026, and we've got a ton of new knives to talk about. And we'll just jump right into our sponsor today. This one is from CRKT, one of our favorite brands at Blade HQ. And what we love about CRKT is they are very much part of the knife community. Like this knife that we have here, this is the Cero. It's designed by Richard Rogers, who's a custom knife maker who's been around since well before I was born, making awesome customs. Is a important, regarded, he's an important and well-regarded member of the knife community. And CRKT takes his designs and brings them to life in production models that we can all get. And one of the biggest gripes that CRKT gets is they're like, we love your designs, they're nice and budget friendly, but we want fancier stuff. We want that knife, but extra fancy, Grail level. And that is what they've been delivering for the last couple of years, including with these two that we're giving away today in the live. By the way, join us every Monday at noon Mountain Standard if you want to get on these giveaways. But these ones have Damascus steel blades, and look at these Damascus steel inlays too. Very fun, and full titanium on the handle scales. Absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for CRKT for sponsoring this video, and check out all the CRKT knives your heart could ever desire at BladeHQ.com. All right, starting right off on the knives, we've got the Deadman Design Elixir. So this one did drop last week, and it was very hot when it came, and it's been selling very quickly. We only have a handful of these left, and honestly, at the time of speaking, these might be sold out. So if you like the Elixir, go get in there. We got a 3.25-inch blade of MagnaCut steel, full titanium here, 7.44 inches overall, weighs 4.3 ounces, sets you back 350, and seriously, they will not be around for long, so go get them now. Next up from Vosteed, we have the Xeno. And this is a new model from them. It is a Vosteed through and through. We've got Vosteed's signature Vanquor lock, so that means you just push this button on the pivot, and that allows the knife to absolutely drop shut. And here we have a full titanium handle, weighs 4.83 ounces overall, 3.2-inch blade of Vanax Super Clean, more on that in a minute, and 7.86 inches overall. So Vanax is a steel that is known widely for its incredible corrosion resistance. It doesn't rust hardly at all. In fact, if you don't believe me, check out the shorts on Blade HQ's YouTube channel. Last week, I was commissioned to make my signature rust juice, and I sprayed it on 4 different blade steels. I did SK5 on just a basic utility blade like you get at the hardware store. I did D2, M390, and this guy. And all of those rusted pretty hard, but this one just a couple teensy little spots on my solution that would make just about anything rust, which I was very impressed with how well this performed, especially compared to M390, which is a true stainless with nearly 20% chromium. So Great knife if you do not like rust, but also really solid edge retention on it as well. Sort of in the S30V class. Just a great knife all the way around, and I love this handle. Look how they milled the spine here, spine of the handle, to meet the backspacer in here. It gives you a nice thing that kind of just sits in your hand comfortably and makes it really comfortable to cut with, and also good looking. Who doesn't love a full titanium handle like that? There's a few different anodized flavors over at BladeHQ.com. Check them out and pick them up. $2.99 for the Xeno. Next up, as we mentioned in our sponsor section, the CRKT Cero is here, and a bunch of other premium knives as well. A lot of those ones did sell out though, so once again, these are going pretty quick. But this is a $249.99 for the price on this guy. Damascus steel, titanium handle, 3.12 inches on the blade, 7.5 inches overall. And because we have full titanium and Damascus steel, it's actually a bit heftier than knives of its size, setting you back at 3.7 ounces. So definitely a gentleman's piece if I ever saw one. I just love the Damascus inlays that kind of match the Damascus of the blade. Damascus, Damascus, Damascus. What's not to like? Very nice. And I was actually talking to Doug, the guy behind the camera right now. He was telling me his favorite feature is this, how this scale wraps over here onto the lock bar, which sort of serves as an over travel stop. So one problem you run into with frame locks is if you push too hard on this bar and it over travels, it'll ruin your detent. The blade, the lock won't engage anymore. But you can prevent that by putting an over travel stop here. So you hit that inlay and it's not going anywhere. So a very functional inlay as well. A very fun knife. Thank you, CRKT. Next up from Flytanium, we have the return of the Theory. So Arcform was a brand that unfortunately closed its doors in 2025 at the very beginning of the year. And a few of its knives have resurfaced, and we're going to see two of them today. First of all is the Theory, and this one is a frame lock version, and the Flytanium version of the Theory does have the same titanium handle scale, and very nicely rounded one at that, but it also has a 20 CV blade, which is a crucible steel as opposed to the M390 that the other one used, the Arcform version did. And as well, it has a thumb hole instead of the thumb stud, which I really appreciate because I feel like this blade profile really lends itself to a thumb hole. It's gonna be nice and easy to open right or left, especially if you like to flick. It's just a great knife. It feels good, it cuts good, and for a price, remember, 20 CV and full titanium here, including a milled titanium pocket clip, goes for $199, which I think is a pretty competitive price for those specs. And I'm really excited to see this knife back. It's always sad when a knife company closes its doors, but sometimes they get to live on a little bit because the designs stick around. Speaking of, Arcform's probably signature model was the Slimfoot, and they used to run the Slimfoot Auto under their brand. And it was made by ProTech here in the United States of America. However, ProTech has brought it back, and we also have the operator version back. So this is the ProTech Slimfoot Auto, and this one has the MagnaCut blade, completely sterile, meaning there's no logos anywhere on it. And it is 3.2 inches on the blade, 7.25 inches overall, weighs 3.2 ounces. And it's an auto, but it's also an operator, and it's tactical, but it's also EDC practical. It's just a really fun knife. I love the way it looks closed and the way it looks opened. And one of my favorite things about this is people love a nice authoritative auto. They click the button and it just flicks you, right? Yeah, and one of the ways that you can achieve that is by really boosting up the spring. You kind of run into safety issues because the spring is just so hard. But this one, it has ProTech's positively dialed action. It's nice and snappy, but not so much that it's gonna jump out of your hand. And the way you get other springiness, snappiness to your auto is you put weight towards the tip. And by making a sheep's foot like this thing, like it lets you know it's open. And I really do appreciate that. It makes it a very fidgety auto, something you just want to play with all day long. Very nice, and I love the tritium insert on that guy. So that means here, this little vial right here is a tritium thing. That is another sign of the operator lineup. If you hit it with the UV light, you can see it really glows. It's just a lot of fun. It looks cool, it is cool, it glows in the dark. What's not to like? Those will go for $290 at BladeHQ.com. Next up, we have some restocks from our Big Idea Design Desert Warrior series. So this one's the Pocket Pro. So this one is one of the most refill-friendly designed pens out there. So it's a little twist pen, so you can close it, you can open it. But because of the way it goes inside, you can look at Big Idea Design's website if you want to learn more. This pen can take just about any refill you want. You're a Pilot G2 man, you're a Uniball Zento man, You're a Schmidt Easy Flow or a Zebra, whatever. Whatever pen you love will fit inside this body, which is a really fun thing. And I am a bit of a pen nerd, if you didn't guess by the fact that I could just pull 4 different refills out of my, but it's just a nice pen, love it. And then also we have the TPT slide. This one is also Desert Warrior, full titanium slides. And one thing that's interesting about these ones is these do not come with a actual blade in them. This one does not have a ground edge on it. It's not gonna cut you or anything. It'll still open a box, it'll still scrape some stuff, but you can pull that out and put a real blade in if you so desire. I know a lot of folks like these because it's more useful than nothing, but you can fly with it, which is really nice. And then the last knife on the table is the Jack Wolf Knives Timberjack. And I will tell you, it is not very often that I see a slip joint that I feel like is worthy of the title of hard user. Because most of the time slip joints are like sort of in the pocket gentlemanly knives. But this one, I mean, it definitely looks nice and it's dialed like every Jack Wolf is. However, this thing is an absolute beefster. We have a nice thick blade of 154 cm with a nice deep hollow grind. It's gonna be plenty slicey as well as being tough. This particular model has the G10 handle scales. However, there are also some Richlite and micarta versions as well. And just because of how big and thick they are, as well as how robust this lock, I guess not lock, but like stop is, like you have to really push to get that thing to close. But because of that, you end up with a nice stout knife that I would not be afraid to take camping or to skin a deer with or whatever, but it's still a slip joint. I know a lot of you folks in Europe have some legalities about locking that you have to worry about. This will give you a lot of the function of a more modern folder with a lock on it, but it will do so in such a way that is more legal. And also, if you just love slip joints, this is a really cool one to check out. So these G10 models have a lanyard hole as well. They go for $164.95. And then if you want these fancy ones that have the metal bolsters, this one's got Richlite. There's also a micarta version. They go for $184.95. 3.625 inches on the blade of 154 cm steel, 7.75 inches overall, so a nice big knife, and only 3.2 ounces. And if I might say, the most comfortable handle of any Jack Wolf yet. Very, very nice. If I had to hard use a Jack Wolf, it would be the Timberjack for sure. Anyway, that is all the knives we have on the table today. Hope you've enjoyed. You can find all of these at bladehq.com and more. Don't forget to check out CRKT over there, and also make sure you're subscribed below because next week, 1 week from today, we will be driving down to Las Vegas for SHOT Show. Which, by the way, I will tell you, we will not be doing New Knives live next week because we're going to be on the road. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, make sure you're watching because you're going to be drinking from the fire hose of all the amazing new knives coming out this year. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you next time. Except for everybody here in the live. Whew. I almost had a bad moment there. Wish I could make the trip to SHOT Show. Yeah, SHOT Show's big. It's pretty wild. My first year at SHOT Show, I decided to bring a pedometer and I did 25,000 steps without even trying. So, yes, George, you know if every part in the handle of M16 is made out of titanium? I would be very surprised if it was. So a fun fact about titanium is titanium and steel do not get along well in a lock setting. There's a lot of lock stick. And that's why on a lot of knives, you'll see a little screw right here. And then if you look really close on the inside, I don't know if we can catch it on camera here, there's a steel lock bar insert because steel on steel is a much smoother experience than steel on titanium. So most places will do a steel lock bar insert. If you're Chris Reeve, they'll just like have the lock interface with the detent ball, which is bold, but I haven't heard of locks breaking, but a ceramic ball, it'll do it. And then even on this guy, it's really hiding in there. You can tell that Richard Rogers did not want to muddy up his thing here with another screw. But if you look really, really close, you can see a little tiny piece of steel screwed in from the inside on even this one. So I would assume that there is steel inside of that one just so that the action will run smoothly, just so that the pins don't run into issues. Yeah, that is what I got. Could you say Flightanium closed? Flightanium did not close. Flightanium is alive and well, and they had some new knives. They have more coming out. My brother is the president of a physical security company based in Vegas. They do keyless entry locks and gets to go to the SHOT Show every year. I'm so effing jealous. Gone Fission, I wish you could be there, man. I would like go get, I don't know, what's a Vegas food? Lobster with you. What's the difference between Richlite and micarta? Great question. So micarta is a brand name that is often appropriated wrongly. In fact, I wrote an entire article about this over at Blade HQ. But this is Richlite. Richlite is basically micarta, so it's a laminate. So you take a bunch of fabric to make micarta, you soak it in a resin, usually an epoxy resin, you press it all together, and then you end up with micarta. Richlite is basically the same thing made with paper, but Richlite is also a trademark. So here they probably just use black paper and a white paper or a gray paper or something and then it gets this sort of brownish color from absorbing the color from the resin. Richlite gives you much of the same experience as wood. However, it's not quite as susceptible to changes in like moisture and that kind of thing. You see Richlite a lot in instruments now, like guitar fingerboards, because it behaves just like ebony. In a double-blind test, the best musicians in the world cannot tell a difference between an ebony fingerboard and a Richlite fingerboard. And Richlite is a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot more sustainable, so why not use it? Yes, George, when will your knife be out for the public to buy? I'm hoping by Blade Show. No promises, I don't know. Does Titanium make pants by any chance? Bet the zipper would be fire. I don't know, but I got their leader, I guess their designer, manager, I don't know what you call him. His name is Brian, good dude. I got his number, I can call him and ask. Are the papers recycled or virgin material for micarta scales? I want to say they usually use virgin material for it, just because they don't want to have contaminants in there. That's when you can kind of run into issues of growth of stuff and all that. Yes. Reagan, what do you think of the ideal knives for MagnaCuts and Magnamax and vice versa? By the way, I'm a guy. Thank you, Reagan. I will say he for the foreseeable future. Well, forever, I should say. I believe MagnaCut is a great hard use blade steel. Like, I personally believe it is the best. If you have a knife that you ever plan to take camping or plan to, use for your outdoor needs, doing your weekend honeydews, that kind of thing, I think that would be a really awesome steel. However, for just a regular old pocket knife that you're gonna use for a long time, like I would say most knives on the table, I think would be good candidates. I think Magnamax is the blade steel. I think it's the best folder steel out there. George, I respect the crap out of this year-long commitment and know that I'm carrying an arc and a fixed blade for you. Elliot Thicks, enjoy them, please. I'll tell you, the fixed blades are hurting more than the arc. So in my rules, I said I was allowed to build an entire everyday carry, and I have had a Leatherman as part of my everyday carry for years, and I'm not about to let it go. However, I did pinky promise that I would not use the blade. So at the end of the year, I'm gonna take close-up pictures of this and send them to Jared Neve and say, hey, this is a factory edge, right? And he's gonna say yes, and y'all are gonna know that I'm for real. But I'm carrying the Wave Alpha, and I will say, I love these handles. They feel so good. And I wish the Arc had something like them. Even on the aftermarket, I would probably put them on. But I don't know if that's enough to really get past the one-hand opening of the Arc that I really appreciate. Richard Moore, bending the rules? I don't know. I mean, I made the rules myself. I wrote them down in October. I think I'm fine. I will say the one rule I'm wondering about bending though is because I just got my Rivery Zero. And I've been talking to my coworkers. I'm like, if I put one of these not blades in my Rivery Zero, does that count as carrying a knife or is it just a fidget toy? And they all told me it counted as carrying a knife, so I guess I'm a loser here. Do you think Magnamax or MagnaCut would be better for a chef's knife? I think Magnamax, unless you're kind of a chef who likes to beat on things. Like if you're the kind of person who's like, I will cut through frozen chicken, then you're probably gonna want Magnamax. But my goodness, does MagnaCut, I should say. My goodness, does Magnamax's edge retention feel good? I wrote an article about that one as well, if you want to go check out how I tested it on the Spyderco Mule Team. Another wonderful knife that is in my box. Told my wife I needed a multi-tool and she just rolled her eyes at me. Okay, Travis Teen, I will tell you, people say they don't need a knife, they say they don't need a multi-tool, whatever, and then somebody around them has one and you'll be very surprised how often you'll be called upon to use it. I'll tell you, if my wife had $1 for every single time that she'd ask me if she could borrow my knife, she would not need me taking care of her, that's for sure. Will you send your knife to Romania for a trip to sharpen? Probably not. I have a decent sharpener here. I believe there are good sharpeners in Romania. My sister lived there for 1.5 years, but yeah. I mean, I have nothing against Romania, but I'll probably just sharpen here. Bradford makes a great MagnaCut kitchen knife set. You are not wrong. Brandy Winter, George, Microtech versus Kershaw Livewire, best. Ooh, don't make me pick between mom and dad. I will tell you, I recommend the Livewire a lot for budget shoppers. And I will say, it's really hard to beat that Microtech ZBP. Like, the fact that it locks up so well and it's just so smooth, I mean, no holds barred, price is no issue, I'm gonna give you the Microtech. But if price is an issue and you just want a really solid knife and you don't care about zero blade play, it's very hard to beat that Livewire. George, if you can meet anybody in the knife world, alive or dead, that you never got to meet, who would it be? I would want to meet, is his name Masamune? He was the blacksmith from Japan who is famous for making the most amazing katanas. And like his katanas, by the way, now sell for millions. I learned a lot about him when I was talking to Tony Marfion, who, in case you didn't know, is a huge student of Japanese cutlery. He has a lot of antique katanas. He's been to Japan. That's where he learned how to mirror polish, by the way, is from Japanese swordsmiths. Very cool. But yeah, I would want to talk to Masamune because he figured out a lot of things about forge welding and heat treatment that he probably couldn't even explain. It was just trial and error, and he didn't know what a carbide was. He didn't know what anything was. I would just love to hear him describe his process, because one quote that's really stuck with me that I heard in high school was from a teacher who said, "If you do not study science and mathematics, your life will be full of magic and miracles." And his life was full of magic and miracles because he could not explain why his blades were so good. He just knew that they were so good, and he was so good at making them. I'd meet Dr. Laren Thomas. Yeah, I've met him. I have his email. Good dude. Love Laren. I wrote an article with him. Yeah, how much Japanese do I know? Not a single word. I guess I know like karate and gyoza. Yeah. You want to meet Lynn Thompson? I met Lynn Thompson. He's a great guy. What's the giveaway today? Chris Kowalczyk, I never thought you'd ask. Yes, we have these. We're going to give these away. And I will tell you, if you want to be in this giveaway, you need to be active in the chat. So I will give you a couple minutes to throw down your comments, and we'll give these away lickety-split. We'll give away bronze first and then black second. And while you're commenting, I will tell you the rules. You must be 18 years or older in the United States of America. And when you win, you must say in the comments, email or Instagram. If it's email, you need to send us an email at questions@bladehq.com. And if it's Instagram, you need to DM us on Instagram, and then we can get this to you. It's going to be so great. Y'all are going to do so well. Looking forward to the release of the Yojimbo and Yojimbo and 15V. Me too, buddy. It's going to be a lot of fun. What do you think of the Squid Surf folder? It is really, 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 really good. And I wish I had one, but I don't. Good luck, everyone. Don't trigger George.
These are crazy nice knives to give away.
Yeah, for real. When I heard that CRKT was the sponsor, I figured they would like throw down one of their like $50 to $100 models, maybe that new M16. No, they brought the heat for us, which I really appreciate. Love you, CRKT. All right. No CRKT in my house yet, besides the best filled knife I ever had. Best field knife. Yep. CRKT really does make a quality product for its price, and even not for its price. For twice its price, they make a good knife. Like, there's a reason we love them so much, and we have such a good relationship with them. They are, like, I'll tell you one thing that I was asking them about this when we took them to lunch after they came and did the video with Sarah, and they kind of played their cards close to the chest on this one. They make a lot of knives that are designed by knife industry people. Like, people in the regular world, real people, don't know who Richard Rogers is. That's something that only knife nerds like me know. Or like Princeton Wong or Ken Onion, all these people that, like, I've met them, I admire all of them, but most people don't know. But CRKT is also a very popular brand outside the knife industry. They're in Big Box, they're in like Bass Pro, they're in all these places, and they sell like hotcakes. How is it that they take something so knife industry specific and sell it to the masses so effectively? And they wouldn't tell me, but they do it really well. Got to give them credit. All right, speaking of, let's give away these knives. All right, Doug will play us a little drum roll here, and then we'll find out who won. Who is it, Doug?
Okay. Drum roll. John the Engineer.
John the Engineer, congratulations. You have won this beautiful CRKT Cero. Please let us know in the comments, do you want to reach out to us over email or over Instagram? If it's email, questions@bladehq.com.
No way.
Instagram. Thank you, John the Engineer. By the way, John the Engineer just got an A+ on how to receive a giveaway from Blade HQ. Yes, John the Engineer, you're my hero. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope this knife treats you well for years to come. And for this black anodized one, I don't know, maybe it's DLC coated. I don't know, but it's black, and it's got the titanium and the Damascus inlays and everything. And it will also be given away to one of you lucky viewers, whose name is...
E.D. Witt, 1971.
E.D. Witt, 1971. Ed Witt.
Ed Witt.
Ed Witt. Ed Witt, 1971, congratulations. You are the winner of this guy. Please let us know in the comments, email or Instagram. Giorgio and the Micro Jimbo Salt is coming out. I don't. If it's not out by the end of next year, I'd be very surprised, though.
E.D. Witt just said chicha and then email.
Each email. Man, you guys are on point today. I hope all of you have a wonderful
He
day.
said, what email?
What email? The email address is questions@bladehq.com. You can go to bladehq.com on the internet and just click the link below. At the very bottom of the page, there's a little thing for email. You can click that if you don't trust me. There it is. Doug's going to supply you as well. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. It should be a good time. Matt J, egg salad time. Love it. George, how do you know Doug isn't stealing your knives out of the box? Lol. I trust Doug. And I'm less worried about Doug stealing knives out of the box than I am me stealing knives out of the box. All right. Thank you all once again for coming. This has been a lot of fun. This is the highlight of my Monday. It makes me excited to come to work on Mondays. You guys are just the best. And don't forget to subscribe because next week at SHOT Show is going to be wild. Got a lot of cool stuff to see. Thank you all for coming. See you next time.